In the shadows of New York City, there was a man the FBI could never catch. A man who went from stealing to becoming one of the richest names in America. This is the story of Ethan Cole, the billionaire thief. Ethan Cole's story doesn't begin with wealth or privilege. It begins in Detroit, in a neighborhood forgotten by time. His father was a broken man, a factory worker who lost his job and drowned his pain in alcohol. His mother worked double shifts at diners, barely making enough to keep food on the table. Ethan grew up in hunger, in chaos, in a world where dreams seemed impossible. But hunger has a way of teaching lessons. It taught Ethan one thing: survive, at any cost. As a boy, he learned how to take what he needed. First it was food, then money. By his teenage years, it was jewels, cars, and eventually safes. He wasn't reckless. He was smart. Every move calculated, every step invisible. By 18, Ethan had built a reputation on Detroit streets. People called him a ghost. By his 20s, he was known nationwide as the Shadow Fox. He didn't just rob, he performed art, breaking into banks, disappearing from museums, vanishing from casinos, leaving behind nothing but confusion. There's a story that once, in Las Vegas, Ethan walked into a casino, played the tables, and walked out with $30 million in chips. Not a single security camera caught him. The FBI had files thicker than a phone book. But every time they thought they had him cornered, the Shadow Fox slipped away. But here's the twist. For all his brilliance, Ethan knew the truth. A thief, no matter how legendary, can't outrun the shadows forever. And deep down, he was tired. Tired of hiding, tired of being chased, tired of living as a ghost. Ethan wanted more than money. He wanted respect. He wanted power. He wanted a future. Then came the turning point, the biggest heist of his life, a shipment in Chicago, carrying $80 million in uncut diamonds. It was the kind of score most criminals would kill for. And Ethan took it without breaking a sweat. But instead of running to the black market, instead of selling his fortune to criminals, Ethan did something no one expected. He met a struggling entrepreneur, Daniel Wright. Daniel had the brains, the vision, and the ideas to change the tech world, but he had no money, no investors, no future. Ethan saw something in him, a reflection of himself, hungry, ambitious, desperate to rise. So Ethan made him a deal. "I'll give you the diamonds," he said. "You'll give me a future." That deal gave birth to Wright and Cole Technologies. And here's the irony. The thief who once cracked locks and hacked safes was now building the most advanced digital locks and cybersecurity systems in the world. Banks that once feared Ethan now paid him millions to protect them. Governments that once hunted him now shook his hand. Within 15 years, Ethan Cole was no longer the Shadow Fox. He was Ethan Cole, billionaire. He stood on the Forbes 400 list. He drove the fastest cars. He lived in a Manhattan penthouse overlooking the city he once robbed. And the world called him a visionary, a genius investor, a philanthropist. He gave millions to hospitals, to schools, to shelters. He funded education for kids who grew up poor, hungry, and forgotten, just like him. Was it redemption or was it strategy? No one could say for sure. But Ethan's actions changed lives. He wasn't just a thief anymore. He was a builder, a leader, a man respected by the very society that once hunted him. But here's the secret. At night, when the city was silent, Ethan would stand on his balcony looking over New York. The newspapers, the Forbes articles, the public, they all believed he was a self-made billionaire. Only Ethan knew the truth that the greatest heist of his life wasn't the diamonds, wasn't the gold, wasn't even the casinos. The greatest heist was stealing a seat at the table of America's elite. This is the story of Ethan Cole, the man who was once a shadow and became a legend. From thief to billionaire,